Internet news with no filter. Welcome to News Sesh. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're diving into a really important topic. So imagine this. You're scrolling TikTok at 2 a.m., half asleep, half doom scrolling, when you stumble on a video that looks like it could restore your faith in humanity, or destroy it completely. A woman sits in her car, phone in hand, camera rolling. She dials the number of a local church and says, "Hi, I'm a mom. I just had a baby. I can't afford formula right now. Do you have any I could pick up?" Then there's silence. We hear the ring, the hesitation, the eventual voice on the other end saying something like, "Sorry, we don't provide that kind of assistance." The woman's expression drops. She thanks them, hangs up, and whispers to the camera, "Another no." Cue the captions. "I called 5 churches. Only one said yes." Cue the outrage. Millions of views, thousands of comments, a wave of stitches and duets. And suddenly, a 30-second clip becomes a full-blown moral trial about faith, charity, and who really helps people in need. This format, what we'll call the kindness test, has quietly taken over TikTok. People film themselves asking for help, a ride, a meal, a prayer, a few dollars for gas. Sometimes it's genuine. Sometimes it's a social experiment. Sometimes it's both. Viewers can't look away. Because deep down, these videos ask the question we're all afraid to face. If I were the one calling, would anyone help me? That's what makes them addictive. They mix vulnerability with voyeurism, guilt with hope. They let you feel something big without actually having to do anything. Every viral experiment like this follows a predictable emotional arc. Step 1. The setup. A relatable premise, someone in need, a common institution, a simple request. Step 2. The call. We wait. We listen for tone, for compassion, for a slip that reveals someone's true character. Step 3. The result. Yes or no. Help or rejection. Step 4. The judgment. The comments explode. How could they say no? I've lost all faith in humanity. Or the opposite. This restored my hope. And finally, step 5. The moral. The creator offers a closing thought about kindness, the world, or God. Cue soft background music. Cue a million more views. The recipe works because it taps into the same psychological pattern that drives reality TV: conflict, resolution, catharsis. Only now, it's happening in real life, on our For You pages. Here's where things get complicated. When you record an act of kindness or an act of rejection, it stops being just a moment between two people. It becomes a piece of content designed for consumption. And once empathy gets packaged for an audience, it starts answering to a new master, the algorithm. Suddenly, the quiet sincerity of helping someone is replaced by the performance of showing that you're helping or being wronged. Because online, authenticity isn't about what's real, it's about what feels real. The camera changes everything. It adds pressure. It adds incentive. And most importantly, it adds narrative. Now the question isn't, did this church help? It's, who's the hero and who's the villain in this clip? The comment section becomes a courtroom, and everyone is suddenly a lawyer for morality. You'll see comments like, "This is why I don't trust churches." Or, "Maybe they didn't have resources. Give them a break." What's wild is that no one really knows what happened off camera. Maybe the person who answered the phone wasn't authorized to give out supplies. Maybe the church works with another organization. Maybe the caller reached the wrong department entirely. But TikTok doesn't trade in context. It trades in emotion. Nuance doesn't trend. Outrage does. So the audience ends up dividing itself into teams, debating not about logistics but about morality itself. And the video that began as a plea for empathy becomes a battlefield of righteousness. Welcome to the age of performative empathy, where kindness is real only if it's been recorded. People film themselves tipping servers hundreds of dollars, giving shoes to the homeless, handing out groceries. And sure, it's sweet, but it's also staged for maximum engagement. Social media has turned compassion into a spectacle. The more tears, the more views. The more shock, the more shares. It's not that the creators are evil. Most probably mean well. The problem is the system rewards displaying care more than doing care. It's like we've all been tricked into believing that empathy doesn't count unless it's public. Now, let's talk about faith institutions for a second, because they end up at the center of these viral tests. Churches, temples, mosques, places that are supposed to represent compassion, become the easiest targets for moral experiments. They're accessible, they're symbolic, and people expect them to be perfect. But here's the reality. They operate on limited resources and messy human systems. Some have food pantries, some don't. Some have volunteers. Some have voicemail boxes that never get checked. When you point a camera at them, you flatten all of that nuance into a yes or no question. Are you good or bad? Kind or cruel? And that's not just unfair, it's unproductive. Because it creates a spectacle that punishes imperfection instead of encouraging understanding. You know what emotion keeps people scrolling longer than laughter or awe? Anger. Outrage has a higher engagement rate than happiness. That's why videos about failing the kindness test blow up faster than ones about genuine success. Every comment, every duet, every heated debate feeds the same machine. The creator gets views. The platform gets ad revenue. The audience gets a dopamine hit of moral superiority. And nothing changes offline. That's the quiet tragedy of all this. We feel like we're participating in justice when we're really participating in marketing. Even when we know these videos are messy, we keep watching.
Why?
Because they let us process our own fears about isolation and survival. They remind us that kindness is rare and that we want to believe it still exists. When someone finally does help in one of these clips, the relief is almost physical. We exhale, comment a heart emoji, maybe even share it with the caption, "Faith in humanity restored." But that reaction also proves the point. We're starving for examples of basic decency. We crave them so much that we'll accept them in whatever form the algorithm delivers, even if they're manufactured. Here's an ironic side effect. The more kindness tests go viral, the less people trust kindness itself. Every time we see a video of someone helping, we wonder if it was staged. Every time someone asks for help, we question their motives. It's compassion fatigue by way of skepticism. And it hurts everyone, the creators, the subjects, and the audience. When every act of giving might be content, genuine connection starts to look suspicious. This whole phenomenon isn't just about TikTok. It's about how we, as a culture, understand empathy. We've outsourced our moral imagination to the internet. We don't want to think about the slow, unglamorous work of helping people in real life. We want instant feedback, instant validation, instant closure. And social platforms give us that, neatly edited into 30-second clips. The result? We're becoming spectators of compassion instead of participants in it. There's an entire economy built around these emotions. Think about it. Outrage drives engagement. Engagement drives reach. Reach drives sponsorships, merch, donations, brand deals. So yes, kindness now has a market price. Creators don't have to be cynical to play the game. They just have to survive in it. The algorithm doesn't reward quiet empathy. It rewards visible conflict. So even well-meaning people end up editing their good deeds to fit the platform's emotional template. So what would it look like if creators handled these ideas responsibly? Imagine if, instead of calling institutions on camera, they used their platforms to connect viewers with real resources. Imagine if they highlighted organizations doing the work instead of exposing them for not doing enough. Imagine if awareness videos ended with solutions instead of cliffhangers. That's the difference between performance and purpose. One chases views, the other builds change. Maybe the antidote to performative empathy is private empathy. The stuff that never makes it to TikTok, the neighbor who quietly pays someone's bill, the friend who drives across town with diapers, the volunteer who never posts a photo. Those acts don't trend, but they ripple through communities in ways no algorithm can measure. And ironically, they're the reason we crave faith in humanity videos in the first place, because we've forgotten how much good happens off camera. We can't control what people upload, but we can control how we engage. Next time you see a kindness test video, pause before sharing.
Ask,
is this about awareness or attention? Does it offer solution, or just spark outrage? Who benefits from me watching this? Because every view is a vote. Every comment is a contribution to the narrative. And if we're serious about building a culture of real compassion, it starts with not confusing entertainment for ethics. Maybe the real social experiment isn't on TikTok. Maybe it's happening right now with us. Every time we scroll, every time we react, we're proving what kind of empathy the internet can sustain. Will we keep rewarding outrage masquerading as awareness? Or can we find a way to make compassion meaningful again, even when nobody's watching? Because the next time someone calls a church or a charity or a friend asking for help, maybe the test shouldn't be filmed. Maybe it should just be answered. And that's a wrap, guys. Like if you did, subscribe for more fun. See ya.